We just seen the movie. The last in Ty West trilogy, starting off with Pearl, went on to X, and now we have Maxxine. So let's do spoiler free talk about it.
Whoa!
So if you know anything about these films, you know that they follow a couple of different women throughout their past, throughout a couple of decades. Pearl is a completely different person in from the main character who is actually becomes Maxine Minx in X. And then now she's off on her own after the events of X about 10 years later. Set in 1985, so it tries to mimic the 80s. You see a lot of satanic panic. You see right in the height of the Night Stalker stuff, and it kind of plays a little bit fast and loose with it without going into spoilers and talking too much about the plot. Just my overall thoughts about it. I think they were trying too hard. Like the homage at some point becomes almost like insisting upon itself and being campy just for the sake of being campy. There's also one thing that I noticed with applying with our heroine, Maxine. She talks a big game because she wants to be a star. But what we actually see throughout the film, she basically doesn't have very much agency. Now, there are a couple of times where she stands up for herself, but throughout the most part, she's relying on other people. She's taking in advice from other people. And she herself just seems kind of like, I wouldn't say in a daze, but almost like she's barely treading water. There is one thing that I do want to say when it comes to Southern accents. You could do them well. I mean, you can fake them well, and then they have this kind of like homey, welcoming vibe to them. And you can also do them horribly, Kevin Bacon, and it makes you just feel like his character needed to be wearing suspenders whenever he was talking. But the highlight of all this and what shot her into the stratosphere, Mia Goth. Oh my goodness. Whether or not you like this movie, you cannot blame it on her acting. This girl actually knows how to act. She is so freaking good. She captures every scene she's in, every emotion that you need her to play. You know, whether it's being strong, whether it's coming off as abused or having gone through some trauma back in the past, or whether it's just almost like a lost puppy in a bigger world, a small fish in a big pond. She pulls that off every single time. It's actually amazing to watch, and this is why acting is so important, or at least it used to be. But I think she's one of the ones that's bringing it back. So I can't say enough to praise Mia Goth's performance in all three of them. So in the film, we do see that and I'm not going to spoil the ending. There is a twist at the end, and we will talk about that because we are doing a video with one of our members later on. We'll talk spoilers. We'll have a discussion about it. But just first takes on all of this, I don't think the payoff was worth it. I think it was kind of set up in a way where you almost expected it, but the camp and the cheese from trying to emulate 80s movies kind of threw it off for me. I wasn't invested as I should have been and have been in Ty West's first two films, in this trilogy anyway. He's done more, but there are some things, practical effects, freaking spot on. They always are with him and with a lot of new horror directors. They're going back to practical effects, and that's something that we love to see because CGI blood sucks. Just make the Caro syrup. It's okay. It's better. Make prosthetics, make all kinds of other things because this is how this movie ends with Caro syrup and prosthetics. It's it's pretty cool, and it's a nice little way to make you think about what Ty was trying to say with this. I think he got a little bit too into his own head with subtle messaging, but that's just me because I could see everything that he was trying to say, and I just think I don't think he hit the mark with every single thing. He did with some of it. He didn't with a lot of other things. There were a lot of callbacks in the script, and I know it was kind of like a highlight or a hallmark of movie making at the time. There's actually a screenwriting book that I wrote, and they were just like, yeah, set it up and then pay it off at the end of the movie. Of course, they do that. But if you've been watching film for a long time, you kind of see that crap coming from a mile away, and it feels like old, tropic. I don't know. For me, this wasn't the one. I would much rather watch Pearl and X over and over again. Those are two outstanding films. This one, I am rating a 3 out of 10. Obviously, y'all know that my rating system's a little bit different, but 3 out of 10 would watch again, wouldn't necessarily care to. But what did y'all think? Have you seen it? And will you? Mia Goth, her performance alone is worth seeing it. And we got Kevin Bacon back, so like he's got the charisma, he just doesn't have the accent. And nothing on him. He tried, but there you go. We also got Giancarlo Esposito. Gus Fring he's back. He's playing a role. looks looks like he needs some Jerry curl, but oh man, yeah, it's definitely something worth a watch. Great cinematography. But until next time, or until the next discussion stream where we talk way more about what actually happens in the film, y'all take care. Multi out.